Hey guys, hope everyone's doing well. It is June 1st. Oh my goodness. What happened? I remember it was Christmas. We're already in summer. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, tomorrow's my fiance's birthday, so we're actually going to a concert tonight. We're going out to dinner tomorrow night. Got do some stand-up paddleboarding on Saturday. It's gonna be really, really fun. So we got some fun stuff coming up this weekend. I just got back from Boston from my conference slash mastermind group, and I thought today I'd talk about a very important concept that I think if you utilize, you can easily get whatever you're trying to do in life. You will get there a lot faster if you implement this really key component. So I wanted to kind of deep dive a little bit about this. And I had a client recently, we were doing a mock interview. It's like an hour before her interview. If she's watching this, special shout out to you. And we're helping her prepare for it and do a great job. I heard it did really well, which is awesome. But she was asking me a little bit about my Boston trip. I was there for a whole week, and this was a really special occasion where I do this about maybe like a few times a year, and I coordinate with other like-minded, positive individuals. It's a private mastermind that I do. So I thought I would break down a little bit about what is a mastermind, excuse me, why you should do it, how to do it, where to look, a little bit about everything. And I won't give all the info because there's a few little other cool things that I like to keep. But I'll give you guys the basics so you can get started fast right away. So what is a mastermind? What is a mastermind? Well, Mastermind became popular. It's become a little bit more popular in the last couple of years. I've seen a lot of people do this, but it became more popular in the book from Napoleon Hill. If you've ever heard of Napoleon Hill, he's like kind of the OG of success. He was the original guy. Very interesting story where at the turn of the century, kind of in the 20s, he was given a commission. He was given a specific task to interview and catalog all the most successful people in that time frame. Henry Ford, Chase, J.G. Wentworth, like all these guys that were Andrew Carnegie, for example. And by the way, he was given the task by Andrew Carnegie to study all the most successful people at the time and look for the common denominators. Okay, common denominators. So originally, he came out with a book, The Law of Success in 16 Lessons. It's a great book. It's a bit of a big read. So if you ever get it, check it out. He then came out with a second edition. There's a whole story, and I can, if you guys ever want, feel free to ask me about it. There's a whole history lesson on this. But he then came out with the second version, which is a lot more popular, called Think and Grow Rich. Okay? Think and grow rich. So there was a recent guy, I saw this YouTube video where this person who was financially free, and he was like 25, said that he had read Think and Grow Rich nearly 50 times and had implemented every single place that he had found it and became financially free. That's awesome. Very rarely do you see that happen. I've read Think and Grow Rich. I haven't read it 50 times, so maybe I should. But the chapter 1 is all about the mastermind. The mastermind is a coming together, social gathering of like-minded individuals, and it's the blending of minds in unity. Okay? Why is this important? It's because it's kind of like teamwork in a lot of ways. It's team, but it's more, you're getting more energy than the sum of its parts. So when you get into a room or social proximity of like-minded individuals, right, you're picking up the energy of everybody. You're getting more energy, ideas, solutions. It's a great way to bounce problems off each other or learn a certain thing, but it's basically everybody who has a specific target. So if you start a sales team, that's a mastermind. If you have your friends group, that's a mastermind. It's a social gathering of people that have some, common denominator, and you're kind of picking up that thing, and you kind of become one mind, one entity. Okay, so a lot of things that have happened in recent years is there's people like join our mastermind group, and it'll be like a Facebook page. That's not a mastermind group. Okay, posting stuff on Facebook is not a mastermind group, and doing a Zoom call kind of, but you have to make sure it's a synergistic effect. It's a unity effect. It can't be it's not the same thing. Like, and it's very specific. It's a very specific art of doing this. So when I see like people that have like we're on a mastermind call, like it depends on like what's everybody's background going into this. If it's way too jumbled all over the place, it's not going to be synergistic. Okay, there's not going to be enough unity, and you're not going to get as much value out of it. I'm not saying you're not going to get any, but not as much as you should be. And if you read that book, you can follow the steps right in there. It lays it all out. So another way of saying this is you are the average of your 5 best friends. Okay, and if you change your energy, right, you change your friend, your friends. Doesn't mean you like completely throw away your friends, but they will begin to change over time. And I've seen this in my own life. I still see friends from, high school and college occasionally, right? But they're not like the people that I see the most amount of time. And I've definitely noticed as my income has gone up, my friend circles or the people that have come into my life has definitely changed. So, food for thought, it's a good indicator. There's kind of your conscious and your subconscious or unconscious mastermind groups. And the way to kind of tell is like, all right, in your daily life, who are the 5 people that you are associating with the most? And you can make a list on a piece of paper, and this will give you a good indicator on kind of just like also who are you surrounding yourself, what environment are you putting yourself into? Another thing is you're also the average of the 5 books you read. So reading books from people in your industry or career or kind of lifestyle you want to lead, and also associating with people, very, very key to start leveling it up by gradient where you want to be in life. So how can you use this as a tool? Okay. You can use this as a tool by first going to events, conferences, seminars, expos on the industry or industry you want to be in. Okay, so if you're in sales, for example, uh, going to a specific industry conference where you have some of the best people in your industry are all going to be there, excuse me, are all going to be there. That's a great way to mastermind with like-minded people, right? And you're bouncing off ideas, and you'll get more ideas as a result of it. If you guys don't know, I do like kind of photography stuff as well, and I went to an expo. It's kind of, I think it was on my Instagram and stuff. Um, and I got like 30 pages worth of ideas. And I didn't talk to like I talked to people, of course, but this wasn't from like I took their idea, I took their idea. It's also because I'm in that environment with the energy of all those business owners. I'm picking up on all of it. Now this sounds a little, new agey esoteric, but this is exactly what people do. And in the book, he catalogs that this is what all the most successful people at the time knew each other. They would all meet with each other, not every day, but on a routine basis, like once a month or once a quarter or something like that. So this is very important to kind of start implementing. The way you want to implement it is put yourself and surround yourself with people that are a little bit above you in some regards. They either have achieved the success you want or they're on their way to success. It doesn't mean like, oh, like you can't hang out with anybody, but you want to tailor it sometimes. It's the same idea as when you go to the gym. Like if I go to a gym, I remember I was at this one gym where it was it's called SealFit. It's a great gym. It's no longer around, but it was amazing. All these ex-Navy SEALs or people that wanted to be Navy SEALs were in this gym. Just by being in that area, you could feel the energy. There was like, you had this like, I got really jacked at the time. And then it closed down and I went to a different gym that wasn't bad, but it was definitely not that same intensity. And I was one of the best athletes. And you could tell that it just didn't feel the same thing, right? You always want to be around a group that's going to push you and motivate you, and you also observe what they're doing to be successful, kind of where you want to be, right? So that's kind of an idea if you can get an image. So with sales, for example, or cybersecurity or anything, you want to definitely be going to these conferences, expos of, just a huge gathering of all those people. The second thing you want to do is maybe if you're in a bigger company, check out and look at what are the top 10 salespeople in my company, or the top 10 cybersecurity engineers, or the top 10, or whatever industry you're trying to get into, or be the best at in your field. Who are the people that I know in my network who are the best at? how can I get around them, right? If I was brand new at a company, I would first find out who are the top 5 salespeople, and then I'd kind of like approach them friendly, like, hey, I'm just starting off my career. I would really love to kind of hear your story. I'd love to buy you lunch and be able to pick your brain. How would that sound? Is there a day that works best for you? Right? I'm sure they'd be happy to help. Sometimes they'd be so busy, but if you like, hey, I'll love, even if it's just 30 minutes of your time, treat you to coffee, treat you to lunch, get into that proximity. And then when you have kind of your company retreats or anything, try to get into that group as best you possible. Find out what networking groups they're using, things like that. So you just want to start being in your environment of kind of like, the people that are going places. And when it's like the same thing, when you're going out for lunch, right, making sure it's with the group that's actually going upwards. Okay, not the ones that are like in a year from now they're probably not even going to be at that company. They have no motivation. They have bad habits. Okay, so keep those things into consideration. When I reflect on things, I'm kind of like, that actually is exactly what I did without trying. I would go out for lunch almost every day. This is like back in Japan when I was doing my recruiting stuff for years. I would hang out with like basically the top recruiter every single lunch, and there was a few other ones that were like really really good. So it was like basically the top recruiter in the whole company, basically the top sales guy as well as business development, and you had like 3 or 4 of us also that were really really good, and I was just brand new, and I just hang out with them, and occasionally there would be somebody who would try to get into the group and just did not resonate. And he might join us for 2 or 3 lunches, and then he would go to the group that did resonate with him. He would naturally gravitate toward that group. By the way, that group were the ones that got fired or quit. So you want to make sure you're putting you're positioning yourself in the best environment possible for the most probability of success. This is one pillar, one technique that you can use and be conscious and be creative with it. So I hope that helps. Like an ideal, so that's the thing. You be aware of who you're attracting in your life, right? There's things that you can't really like, it's kind of being aware. It's kind of look at the people that you're unconsciously putting around in your lifestyle, but then start to consciously put yourself in environments being around either positive people or successful people or people who are better than you in a certain area or line of work or industry that you want to get into or be a part of. Very key to do. It's always good to definitely start having your 5 best friends who are like-minded in some way. They have attributes you might want to have, but also going to those conferences that way that are much more massive in nature. And I would say, do what's within your budget range because a lot of these things cost money to go to. Obviously, like a week in Boston, I had to pay for the flight and the hotel and like the conference itself and stuff. It can get pricey that way, but so you want to budget for these things. But I do know that every time I do, the return on investment is that much more because I get new ideas for my business or new contacts, new information that I can use in my day-to-day life. Greatest example I can kind of give is my friend who I'll be seeing in a few months. He's going to come visit me. We started this process nearly, I don't know, I want to say like 8 to 10 years ago. We started kind of doing like these big conference masterminds. He was a guy that when we met was pretty broke. Like he was struggling. He would go to conferences 2 to 4 times a year, and he was trying to get into the area of videography. Didn't know anybody, trying to get into it. Over the span of about 4 years, he now commands one of the highest salaries in his area. Like it's like something over like 200K basically a year. And this is a guy who was like, we knew each other when we were not making anything, and now he's doing really, really well. And he's part of we're friends. It's not like I'm like, join my mastermind. It's like, no, we just call up and are friends together. But I do consider him one of the people I associate with pretty often. And that's kind of like a mastermind itself. So you don't really have to use the word mastermind. A lot of it is like, who are the 5 people you hang out with, the friendships you have, the people you associate with. So be aware of this. I do have my own private mastermind. It's not mine. It's one that I was invited to, and that was the one that was happening in Boston. It is by invitation only. You do have to qualify to be in it, but it's if you want more information, feel free to reach out to me. It's definitely a mastermind where it's a like success in general, health, wellness, happiness for people who want more out of life. That are sick and tired of being sick and tired and want to like just lead the best life that they can. So it's definitely worth looking into. I was looking at another one recently. A more famous one is called the Young Presidents Organization, YPO. The qualifications of getting into that one is you have to, I think, generate $2 million a year in your business. Like, okay, I'm good. I'm not that good yet, but who knows? Maybe in a few years I can get to that point. So it was very interesting. So different things have qualifications. Not all clubs are like just open door policy. You have to qualify. So the one that I'm a part of, I think, is a very fair qualifications. If you go to a country club, that's a club. You have to qualify. I was actually looking into that, and like an average, it depends on like there's like levels of like clubs like that. So the more though you invest in those things, the more you're going to get out of it. And you don't have to join the most top one. Use it in gradients. Okay, wherever you are right now, take a self-assessment, be self-honest with where you're at, and then look at what's the next level up. What can I do to kind of level it up and aim for that kind of mastermind group. Okay, those are some tips. It's something that I utilize. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any more questions on this. If you'd like to, need some consulting services, if you'd like some help with a mock interview, a lot of people have been reaching out recently, and I really get a lot of fulfillment, so I'm happy to help. Again, I've helped like a lot of people on this, and I've myself even conducted probably over 10,000 interviews myself as a hiring manager and a recruiter. So definitely know that area pretty well. Feel free to reach out. I'll have my contact details in the description below. And you guys have a great one. Happy June. We're halfway through 2023, so I'm excited. We're going to have a fun summer going to Europe by the end of it. So that's like the big payoff. And I got a half Ironman I got to start training for. Anyway, guys, take care. Talk to you soon. Cheers.